It's the dictionary. Dictionary. It's the dictionary. Dictionary. It's the dictionary. Dictionary. It's the dictionary. It's the dictionary.
Hello, word nerds. My name is Spencer, and welcome to the dictionary. This is episode F137. I got to tell you right off the bat, I am not at peak performance today. I had a bit of a bout of stomach flu last night, and it's on the way out, literally and metaphorically. So I'm still recovering from that, but I must persist. I must be diligent about recording these episodes. And so hopefully everything is a-okay. But hey, let's just get to the words. The first word in this episode is floor. F-L-O-O-R, first form. By the way, there should have been a guest in the previous episode. I hope you had fun listening to that nonsense. All right, so this floor word is a noun from before the 12th century. Number one, God, there's a number of definitions for floor. Number one, the level base of a room. It has to be level. If it's not level, what is it? A wall? I mean, that's level in a different way. It's got to be level. Why would you make a room that doesn't have a level floor? Well, I'm sure there are some fun reasons. 2A, the lower inside surface of a hollow structure. And examples of this hollow structure might be a cave or also a bodily part. What bodily part has is a hollow structure? Well, I mean, I think there's a number, like the heart. When you get rid of all the blood, it's partially hollow, so maybe there's the floor of the heart. The lungs, I don't know, that's a little bit different. I think it's semi-hollow, maybe like your some sort of cavity, like your sinus cavity is maybe semi-hollow, so maybe there's a floor there. What other ones? I'm trying to think. Your stomach, your intestines, the floor of my skull, because that's hollow. Okay, so that was 2A. Now we got 2B, a ground surface, and the example is the ocean floor. A ground surface. It is the bottom that is ground. It is ground. It's made of dirt and stuff. And so yeah, the ocean floor, it's sort of similar to number one, the level base of a room, but it's not a room, and it's not necessarily level. It's just the bottom of the thing. The ocean floor. Oh, we just watched that movie Last Breath, and they go down to the ocean floor. Number 3A, a structure dividing a building into stories. Also, the synonym is just story. So it's not the story that you're reading to your children at night, no, or the story that your parents are reading to you. No, this is, the building has floors. It has stories. How tall is that building? That's a 10-floor building, a 10-story building. I feel like we say story more than floor in that way. A 10-floor, it's got 10 floors, but it's a 10-story building. Why do we use the word story there? Story sounds weird. 3B, this is the occupants of such a floor. The floor? I guess, yeah, you're talking about all of the people who are living or working on that floor. You just call them the floor? Get the floor out. It's fire alarm time. Get them out. Get the floor? Okay, number 4. The surface of a structure on which one travels, as in the floor of a bridge. The surface of a structure on which one travels. So if you're going down a bridge, you're driving on the floor of the bridge? I ain't never heard of that one. That one's wrong. 5A, a main level space, as in a stock exchange or legislative chamber, distinguished from a platform or gallery. So, you know, the stock exchange, the legislative chamber, why is that so hard to say? They have different sections. There's the main floor. You call that the floor. You got to go work on the floor. Oh, the floor of the stock exchange looks so chaotic and crazy. I don't think I could ever handle that. But then there's other areas, maybe up top, maybe some offices or whatever. I've seen those in movies. I know all about it. Number 5B. The specially prepared or marked area on which indoor sports events take place. They got to be indoor. Why can't you be playing a game on the floor and an outside sports event? Especially prepared. What do they do to specially prepare it? Do they cook it in oil? Do they put a lot of salt on it? Yeah, indoor. The floor of the stadium is where the sports are happening. 5C. The members of an assembly, as in, took questions from the floor. Again, we're talking about the people. The people are being described as the floor. Because why? Because they're on the floor, probably, maybe. 5D. The right to address in assembly, an assembly, assembly, the right to address an assembly, as in, the senator from Utah has the floor. Everybody's got to listen to the senator from Utah because he has the right to address all of the people at this legislative chamber. Number 6, a lower limit. The synonym is base, B-A-S-E. I feel like there should be more. The bottom of a thing, the lower limit. Have I hit my floor yet? No, I don't think I've hit my floor. Maybe I started off at my floor. Maybe I'm going to end at my floor. Where is Spencer's floor? Floored is an adjective. Now, maybe the second form. Yeah, we'll get more into that on the second form. Because when I think of, I got floored, I'm floored. Yeah, I think it's the second form that's going to bring that into it. We have a phrase, from the floor, and that means infield goals as opposed to free throws, as in made 16 of 18 shots from the floor. So I guess those are just points made just during normal game play from the floor, because they were playing on the floor of the basketball stadium, which is indoors, usually, always. And so free throws are different. The game has stopped temporarily, so you get to throw the ball for free. Okay, from the floor. That's a kind of, I mean, you're still on the floor when you're shooting the free throws. It's not like they put you on some pedestal or something. You're still on the floor. So I don't know. I think they could have come up with a better phrase there. This word is from, let's see, Old English floor, akin to the Old High German flur, which means meadow. Oh, that's very nice. Also Latin planus, which means level, and perhaps from the Greek planesthai, which means to wander. Maybe you are wandering through the meadow, and that's the floor? I'm not sure. All right, let's make a sound effect. We're going to go thump. Next word is the second form of floor. This one is a transitive verb from the 15th century. Number 1, to cover with a floor or flooring. Maybe it's hardwood flooring. Maybe it's a carpet, a rug, anything else. Grass, turf. Maybe if you're putting turf down outside on your lawn, are you flooring your lawn? Number 2A, to knock or bring down. It's worded weird, but I get it. It's to knock down or to bring down. So maybe this is a wrestling match, a boxing match, one of those fighty matches. And when you floor the person, you have hit them, you've done something so hard that they went down, they got knocked down, you brought them down, you floored them. You took them to the floor. 2B, the synonyms are flabbergast and dumbfound. Oh, when you told me that all of the cats were raining down from the sky, I got floored. I was flabbergasted and dumbfounded because I don't think cats can rain from the sky. Number 3, to press to the floorboard, and the thing that you might be pressing to the floorboard is the accelerator of a vehicle. Floor it. We got to get out of here. We got to escape the cops. Floor it. Also, to accelerate rapidly. As in the example, floored the van. Vans typically aren't going to accelerate rapidly because they're so big. But if you had a little tiny speedy car, that's going to accelerate rapidly. Floorer is a noun. The one who is doing the flooring, putting down the carpet, hitting somebody in a boxing match. Yeah, that's it. Flomp. Next is floorboard, noun from 1881. Number 1, a board in a floor. Maybe it's hardwood, beautiful hardwood flooring, and every single one of those pieces is a floorboard. But also, I think if there's, do you call them also floorboards when they're like up against the wall right where it meets the floor? Are those also the floorboards? Maybe not. Number 2, the floor of an automobile is the floorboard. Why do they call it the floorboard? I don't know. Isn't there another car word that has board in it? Board. I don't know. Next is floor cloth. One word, noun from 1746. A usually decorated heavy cloth used for a floor covering. And example would be canvas. Canvas could be a floor cloth. Decorated heavy cloth used for floor covering. Well, I mean, I know that when painters are painting, big painting stuff, they might need to, or just painting the walls and the ceiling and stuff, they might need to put down some floor cloth, often canvas. It's not decorated, so this one is different. Floor covering. I don't know. I guess this is like a temporary thing that you're put down when you're not painting because it's decorated. I don't know so much about this floor cloth. I only know the painting floor cloth. Next is floor exercise. 2 words, noun from 1957. An event in gymnastics competition consisting of various ballet and tumbling movements performed without apparatus. And examples of the tumbling movements would be jumps, somersaults, and handstands. So there's no apparatus, no apparati. There's no trampolines. There's no high bars. There's no single beams, double bars, horses, none of that stuff. No, this is all with your body, and you're doing it on the floor. Although sometimes I think the floor is a little bouncy, as I understand it. The floor exercises, anything else. I mean, they're very talented. It's very impressive to see what they can do with just a little bouncy floor and their body. They're doing flippy flops all over the place. I think of floor exercises as the exercises I'm doing on the floor. I'm not on the treadmill. I'm not on the rower. I'm not on a machine. I'm doing body exercises. These are my body exercises. I'm using dumbbells and other stuff like that. I did some floor exercises yesterday. No floor exercises for me today. I'm still a little meh. Next is flooring. Floor with an ing. Noun from 1624. Number 1, the synonyms are floor and base. It's the flooring. Number 2, material for floors is the flooring. What sort of material? Well, of course, there's the hardwood, there's the carpets and the rugs, there's those like non-wood wood flooring things. I don't know what those are. I don't know all the different kinds of material for flooring. I do think, though, that we should be putting more grass and turf in our floors. Floor lamp. 2 words, noun from 1892. A tall lamp that stands on the floor. Why does it have to be tall? Well, it's not going to be very useful because it has to sit on the floor. A lamp that way down here, that's not a useful lamp. It's only for your feet. That's a floor lamp for your feet, so your feet can read at night. No, you need a tall floor lamp, so it's near head level. Floor leader, 2 words, noun from 1899. Sorry, I gotta fix my sleeve cuff. It got all messed up. Is the other one messed up? I can't see. The camera's in the way. Oh my God, the camera won't get out of the way. Okay, floor leader, a member of a legislative body chosen by a party to have charge of its organization and strategy on the floor. I just like talking about the people as the floor. I think also the floor, they're the leader of the floor, which is a big group of people. Floor length, 2 words with a hyphen, adjective from 1939. Reaching to the floor. It's funny to think of the idea of your hand reaching to the floor. I'm reaching to the floor. I can't reach it. It's so far away. How am I ever going to reach to the floor? Get closer, floor. As in the example, here we go. It's a floor-length gown. The gown reaches all the way to the floor. Maybe it shouldn't go all the way down to the floor because then it's going to get very dirty, especially if you go outside. Then you got to lift it up so it doesn't get all dirty. But it's so very glamorous when you have a gown that is floor-length. Floor manager, 2 words, noun from 1887. A person who directs something from the floor, as in, the example, not a sentence, it's as of a nominating convention. All right, this is not exactly what I was thinking of, but I think this is back to the legislative chamber, probably. A person who directs something from the floor. Maybe they could also be the floor leader, but this is the floor manager. It's a nominating convention, so they're having a convention to nominate somebody, something to something, and they're the one who is directing the whole situation, the manager of the floor. Floor show, 2 words, noun from 1927. A series of acts presented in a nightclub. It's the floor show. Why is it the floor show? Because they're on the floor? But wouldn't everything be the floor show? Because unless it's like some fancy burlesque or circus show, everything is probably going to be on the floor because of gravity. A series of acts presented in a nightclub. Because why are you calling it the floor show? That sort of means like, is there a different kind of show that's on the ceiling? That's on the wall? I don't know. Next is floor through. Floor through. 2 words with a hyphen. Noun from 1967. An apartment that occupies an entire floor of a building. The whole floor is one apartment. And so this apartment is a floor through because it goes through the floor, the whole floor, and nothing but the floor. I was not aware that it was called a floor through. This is a new one to me. There was part of me that when the apartment across the hall from us, and there's only 2 apartments on a floor in our building, I was really tempted to buy the other one and then break through and have one big apartment. But then I was like, I can't afford that. That's silly. But it would be kind of cool. Floor walker, 1 word. Noun from 1876. A person employed in a retail store to oversee the salespeople and aid customers. They're the floor walker because they're walking the floor to find people who need help. And I'm like, can you stop bothering me? You don't need to come and say hi and ask me if I need anything or tell me about your deals. I'm good. Thank you very much. You can floor walk yourself away from me. I sound really, really nasty from that, but no, I'm like, just go floor walk to somebody else. I'm fine. All right, we have finished with the floor words. We've got one more word before we go to a different section. It's the word floozy. Floozy, or you can spell it Z-I-E. Either way, if you are a floozy, you can spell yourself however you want. This is a noun from 1911. Of course, you're probably not going to like the definition. It is what it is. A usually young woman of loose morals. I have spoken about these words. Whatever. I mean, loose morals, it's a word. It's a derogatory word. I guess you could say maybe a slang word. It doesn't say disparaging or anything like that. I think it should, because usually when people are using this word, they're calling somebody else a floozy and they're being kind of mean about it. I'm sure that there are some people who mean it in a nice way. Maybe they're talking about their floozy community. But usually, that's not what it is. Usually, it's meant to be kind of mean. You're such a floozy because your morals are loose, and we don't like loose morals around these parts. Okay, the origin is unknown. There's no etymology for floozy. I'm very curious to know how this word came about. Now we have the word flop. We got some flop words here. First form, it is a verb from 1602. We are starting with intransitive number 1. To swing or move loosely. The synonym is flap. Of course, flip. Well, flap and flop and flip all go together in my book. Oh, I really want to do some flopping around right now, but to be honest, my body does not want to move so much. So that is flop. Moving loosely, swinging loosely is flop. Flopping. Number 2, to throw or move oneself in a heavy, clumsy, or relaxed manner, as in flopped into the chair. That is exactly what I want to do right now. I just want to flop on the couch. Number 3, to change or turn suddenly. Ooh, to change or turn suddenly, like, are we turning into a dog? Suddenly? Flop into it? No, I don't know. I don't know what this is. There's no sentence. Number 4, to go to bed. To go to bed, as in a place to flop at night. I just need a place to flop at night. I don't have a place. I need a bed. Just a bed. Maybe my car will be the place that I flop at night. Number 5, to fail completely, as in the play flopped. Oh, that play, it was such a big fail. They failed because everybody was speaking in gibberish and we didn't understand what they were trying to say. I think that's a flop. Now we have transitive, which is to move or drop heavily or noisily, and also cause to flop. As in, flopped the bundles down. The bundles. Flopped the bundles down. That one I don't know about what bundles. You're just plopping them down. Dropping them heavily or noisily. I think of maybe when I'm doing my laundry, which I have to do later today. I'm going to take all the clean clothes in the basket and I'm going to flop it all onto the bed. And so then I can fold my flopped laundry. Let's see. Flopper is a noun. This is from the second form of the word flap. Flap, that was loud. Flop. Now we have the second form of flop, adverb from 1728. The synonyms are right, R-I-G-H-T, and squarely, as in fell flop on my face. When the bird did a poo-poo in the air, it fell flop on my face, and I freaked the hell out. Right on my face, squarely on my face. Yeah. I don't know more about this one. I've never heard of this before. fell flop on my face. Sounds like a very old term. What year? The 1700s. That's pretty old. The third form of flop is a noun from 1823. Number 1, an act or sound of flopping. Can I make anything flop here? I can flop my hand on the desk. Number 2, a complete failure, as in the movie was a flop. So this is the same but different to what we had before, which was the verb. The play flopped. It was doing the action of flopping. But here, the movie was a flop because it flopped. It was flipping and flopping all over the place like a dying fish. Number 3 is slang, and it's a place to sleep. But especially, the synonym flophouse. The flophouse is a place to sleep. Slang. Okay, interesting. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Number 4. The synonym is dung, D-U-N-G, as in cow flop. Also, a piece of dung is flop. So is it called flop because when it comes out of their butt, it falls a few feet, and then it flops on the ground, and it probably goes and it gets a little squished down into a pancake? Not a pancake I want to eat. Okay, cow flop. Watch out for the cow flop when you're walking through the pasture. Why are you walking through the pasture where the cows live? You're a farmer. Next we have flophouse. Noun from 1916. It is a cheap rooming house or hotel, but it's got to be cheap. You don't want to spend a lot when you're just trying to sleep for the night and that's it. Then you get on the road again. No, you want a cheap place. And it's a house for flopping, so it's a flop house. Now this one doesn't say slang. The flop definition did say slang, so is flop the slang of flop house? I guess so. Now we have the word floppy, first form of floppy, adjective from 1858. Tending to flop, especially being both soft and flexible. Ooh, it's so floppy. My arms are so floppy. They're so soft and flexible. Floppy, floppily is an adverb, and floppiness is a noun. Floppy, that's such a good word. I think of Dumbo's ears as floppy. That's it. Now we have the second form of floppy, noun from 1974. The synonym is floppy disk, which is our next word. Floppy disk. 2 words, noun from 1972. So we had floppy disk in 1972 and then shortened it to floppy 2 years later. And what is it? It's a thin plastic disk coated with magnetic material on which data for a computer can be stored. And these original floppy disks were literally floppy. I remember when I was a kid in the 80s, there were the 5-inch floppy disks. They were probably about that big, and they were usually black, I think. Usually used them for a PC. I mean, maybe in the 70s it was something different. I don't know, but you'd use them on a PC, and they were these large, literally kind of floppy disks. And then, kind of at the same time, when my friends had the floppy disks, but we had a Mac because we were so super duper cool, and we had the smaller, they were the 3.5-inch disks that we still called floppy disks, except they were hard. They didn't flop. They're weak. Why did we call them floppy disks when they were hard disks? Why we could have called them that. I don't know. But we still called them floppy disks, and these were the things. Your whole life was on these floppy disks. When we wanted to save a file, like we had an old version of Microsoft Word on a floppy disk, and there was only one disk slot. Well, sometimes we had 2, but it was usually just the one disk slot in the computer. And then when you wanted to save, you'd have to eject the program disk and put in the system disk and then put in the Microsoft Word disk and do that a few times just to save a file. Oh boy, things were different back then. The kids today will never understand. Well, and now, on various programs, the save icon is the floppy disk picture, the 3.5-inch one, the hard floppy disk. And I remember some post years ago that was like, I showed my kid this old floppy disk and they were like, oh, you 3D printed the save icon. They don't even know what the save icon is. It's all for us old people who know what these disks are. Oh boy, I'm old. Okay, next. Oh, it's our last word. It's flop sweat. 2 words. Noun from 1953. Nervous sweat as of a performer, caused especially by the fear of failing. Yes, you are afraid. You're afraid that your performance is going to be a flop, that you are going to flop. And so the sweat comes from the fear of flopping. I get a little sweaty here, partially because the room is warm. I do have the fan going, but, there's a lot of factors. But, it's the action for me. I guess it's not called flop sweat, but it's just the action of doing something, being physical, talking, moving, or whatever it is. That action just, I get sweaty, performers. Just last night, I saw a singer doing a performance, and he was very sweaty just because he was up there performing, and there are lights on him and everything. So I don't know if he was nervous that he was going to be a flop, which he was not a flop. But, you just get sweaty sometimes. But this flop sweat is typically because you're so nervous you're going to fail. Are you going to fail? Get those thoughts out of your head. All right, that's it. Let's pick a word of the episode. Today we had floor, floorboard, floor cloth, floor exercise, flooring, floor lamp, floor leader, floor length, floor manager, floor show, floor through, floor walker, floozy, flop, 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 flop house, floppy, floppy disk, and flop sweat. Ooh, which one are we gonna pick? I think I might pick one of the flop words. Let's see. Let's just pick floppy as the word of the episode. I'm feeling so floppy today. I'm feeling so floppy today. I'm flipping and I'm flopping all over the place. I'm feeling really floppy today. Okay, that was it for that. I guess I should tell you about a movie that I watched. Let's see. Let's bring up this list. And where did we leave off? I think we left off at my dead friend Zoe. Yes, I talked about that. Have I not seen a movie since then? Ooh, if I did, I didn't write it down, and now I have forgotten. Well, yeah, I didn't watch one yesterday. The day before, I don't think I watched one. Oh, I guess I'm all out of movies. I'm so sorry. It's a very sad day in movie land. You might not get a whole lot of more movie talk for a while. All right, on that sad, terrible note of an end, this has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Plomp.